Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today we're going to talk about some of my romance pet peeves. So the more that I read romance, the more things that I find out I like, and the more that I find out there are things that I dislike. Some of these I have probably talked about before, typical things that show up in romance often, and some of these might be a little new or that I recently discovered from some of my recent reads. The first of which, not a surprise to anybody, miscommunication, because why the fuck are two grown-ass adults not communicating with each other? How do you expect the relationship to work? Communication is literally the bare minimum. It's also always something stupid and that like literally a 2-second conversation could fix. And then I'm always like, this is pointless and you have this unnecessary conflict. And I don't like unnecessary conflicts, so what was the reason? This also ties into the next thing because oftentimes miscommunication can then lead to a third act breakup. Look here, I came here for warm and fuzzy feelings. I came here for an HEA. And even though most times there is still an HEA after the third act breakup, we could just skip all that because that's literally at least minimum 50 to 75 pages that you could have kept out. And I love me a short romance. So just go ahead and get rid of that and let's just keep the story rolling. Rosie Adams pissed me off so fucking bad because granted, the reason for the third act breakup was 100% valid. This person needed to work on themselves. They needed to go to therapy. They were healing from a traumatic experience. But a third act breakup at 91%, I was stressed. That is too late in the game. If you're gonna do it, make it at like the 75-80% mark, not the 91st. Why on earth? My heart can't take it, okay? These next two things, I guess it depends on the context really, and they're specific. So pet names are something that I don't necessarily love, but in some instances I can think that they're cute. For example, Sinful Enforcer. The nickname that Rocco gave Gaio was so cute. I loved it. However, two things that I absolutely fucking hate, and let me preface this by saying that I'm not kink shaming. I'm not yucking your yum. If that's your thing, I love that for you, but me personally, I can't do it. Men being called daddy and women being called baby girl. Ugh, I fucking hate it. Makes me cringe every single time, both of them. Especially when they're in the same. Oh no. I don't. I know that the girlies eat that up. I know, and I love that for y'all, but I can do without. I don't need it. I don't want it. Just because even if I am like into the romance and I really like the couple and like everything that's happening, the second that comes out, I'm just like, oh man. Just takes me right out of the story. I'm just like, ugh. Can't stand it. It literally makes me cringe so fucking much. So this one, I've talked about before and it's ruffled some feathers. At the end of the day, as per usual, if you know me, then this isn't a surprise to you, but I said what I said. I'm not arguing with you. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with me, but I don't really care. And here's the thing. I don't know if I just dislike consensual non-consent altogether, or if I don't like it when it's a tad unclear, because there are instances where like there's a conversation that happens, and so when things happen, I'm like, okay, well, you know, this is fine because they already discussed it. When there is no conversation, when there is no like explicit, this is okay, this is what I want type thing, I don't like that. And I feel like sometimes the lines can get blurred, and I would prefer if they didn't. Just, I don't like it. It makes me uncomfy. And I don't like when, you know, it's like explained later that it was fine and whatever. Cause I'm like, if you had said that then, I would have been okay. But you saying this at the 80% mark when we're talking about something that happened in chapter 2, nah, I don't like that. That's just my personal preference. I know some people love CNC and DubCon, but I just need to know that beforehand. And that's not always clear. And particularly this usually pertains to some form of dark romance, which isn't necessarily my thing. I think I can I can like dip a toe in. I'm never gonna be full speed ahead on that one. So that was a recent experience that I had, and I was just like, yeah, no, not for me. Another thing that particularly pertains to dark romance, and that I think I'm gonna have a larger conversation on later down the line. Keep in mind, I'm by no means a dark romance expert or whatever, because it's really not my thing. But in that video, I will make sure to leave recs for people who are the experts on that and can give really good recs. But like unnecessary vulgarity, just like for no reason. I was reading something on Kindle Unlimited, and the male main characters were just like super aggressive, super vulgar, and just like literally for no reason. And I was just like, why are you like this? Or like being obnoxiously obscene. Are you a teenager? Do you think this is funny? Do you think you're cool? Because it's not. You're not. Stop. Another one I just thought of is I hate when the word cock is just used like 80,000 times. I think, was I reading Desperate Measures? It might have been Desperate Measures. It was my first time reading anything by Katie Robert, and I checked, like I searched it in the book, and it came up like 75 times, and I was like, that's too many. Another thing I just thought of, I really am not a fan of dirty talk at all. Like, when people are talking in the middle of like a smut scene, I'm like, please shut the fuck up. I don't know why. I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. Oh my God. It is like one of the most irritating and cringiest things to me. I cannot stand it. I feel like a lot of times the dialogue can be cringe. So specifically during a sex scene, I'm like, you can take all of that out, please and thank you. So those are some of my romance pet peeves. I literally thought of this the other night. I couldn't go to sleep, and I was just writing out content ideas in my phone, and this was one of them. So I'm sure I'll have a part 2 at some point, because don't I always? But let me know what some of your romance pet peeves are, if you agree with any of mine. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.